Welcome back to the final race of the season here at CRL. How are you all doing tonight? As always, I am your commentator Jamie Morris to take you through which will hopefully be a fantastic race for the final race of the season in Brazil. The track we're in is Interlagos, which has a lap distance of 4.3 kilometers or 2.6 miles long, depends how you want it in metrics. And the predicted pit stop strategy is soft to medium or soft to hard, or will the wet tyres be needed? As you can see, it's Q1 and it's full wet, so I'm wondering then, will it remain wet for full qualifying? Sorry about that, you probably heard the notification go off in the background there, but yeah, you won't hear it anymore, I just turned it off. So 80 minutes of qualifying and it is wet, so I wonder how the drivers there will manage it around this 4.2 kilometer circuit. But the championship may be over, but the fight for P2 in the championship is not. Thanks for somebody updating me last week, or shall I say yesterday, because I did not realise there was a post penalty that came Total P's way. So basically, what happened was Total P's won the race initially, but after Walter appealing his incident, he got himself a grid penalty. I don't know how, not grid penalty, sorry, that was during visit in qualifying, but Both drivers for P2 got themselves a penalty, one in qualifying and one in the race, and Total P sustained a 10-second time penalty or 5-second time penalty after the race, and therefore it dropped him down into P3. Only P3 though, he lost 2 positions, but he still remained on the podium. And Mark, we saw him finish on the podium last week, but he sustained a penalty as well, and he dropped behind Ferg, and he finished in 5th ahead of Duel, and more importantly he finished ahead of Seymour Gamer, who is fighting for tonight's championship. But Giroud Visser, he finished ahead of Total P's, and that gave him 6 points in the championship, because if you remember back in, what race was it? It wasn't Bahrain, because they both had a fantastic race around there, but it was the race before, it was Singapore. If you remember in Singapore, I don't think he scored any points, and it allowed Total Peace to get a whole of points on him, and I think Total Peace finished in 2nd place with that safety car coming his way at the very end after he made a mistake with that turn 2. So it's swapped a bit between Giroud Visser and Total Peace, but Giroud has the lead, and it's only 2 points. So all they need to do is finish ahead of each other for tonight's race. Will Giroud Visser finish in 2nd place in the championship, or will that go to Total P's? Will he able to get it after he had a difficult start to the season where he had his internet connection issues and a bit of misfortune throughout the first race of the season, which was back in Britain, where he completely picked up so many penalties, but managed to sort himself out as DC's actually retired coming out of the pit lane. So he's came out of the pit lane and he's retired. But let's go on board with the AlphaTauri. Did he crash on his outlap? I'm not quite sure. Foul Fury, let's have a look. He's in the pit lane. It's his teammate Mark. Mark, yeah, I couldn't quite tell if he lost his front wing. DC, his wheels looked intact. So if he was having to qualify, if he was having a qualifying ban, he would have retired straight in the pit lane. But I'm not quite sure what happened there. Whether someone made contact with him, not quite sure. But I think Het Bompier was our first man to start a lap time, or it was an Alpine. I think it was. Let's have a look, shall we? As we go on board. Milan started. Oh, he's actually validated his outlap. But Het Bompier across the line now, and he's up into P1 at 18.6. Next to cross the line was an Alpine, who was about to start his lap, and Duval's next to cross the line. Goes P2, it's a 19.3 for him in 2nd place. And Mercedes crossed the line, he's about to start his flying lap. The Alpine, the Williams actually crossed the line. Is that Giroud? No, it's his teammate, I believe. It's Milan. No, it's actually going to start a flying lap. Red Bull, oh, Giroud's almost lost it coming out of turn 4 there. The seat of the logo almost dropped on the exit, losing traction. So, lost a bit of lap time. Has Giroud Visser. And next across the line is Aston Martin. That is C4 Gamer. They're quite handy in these wet conditions. Where's he going to go? On top of the pecking order, it's at 18.6. Quickest by 600ths of a second ahead of Het Bompier. Walter sets the pace with a 17.7. That's a fantastic lap time for Walter. As to Griffin, the Red Bull has popped himself up into 6th place. But as you can see, he's already improving on his 2nd lap time. 2nd place goes towards Indian Jesus. It's at 18.0. I believe Indian Jesus had a fantastic race around here last time he came to Brazil. I'm not quite sure if it was him. Did he win the race or was it the podium? Because I actually remember him having a battle with Irish New Potato and Ferg, where Irish New Potato and Ferg actually came together in turn 1. I don't know how I remember that, but can he have another good race here tonight? Who knows, we'll find out. As next across the line is Iceron Knight in P7. There he is, coming towards turn 3 now. And Het Bompier has popped himself up into 3rd place with an 18.2. Duel up into P5 with an 18.8. He's about to cross the line. P6 now with an 18.8. AJ in P5 with an 18.8. Damn, the comments are coming in very quickly there. Who's commenting? Yeah, so Milan then, who's invalidated his lap time, is about to go for another flying lap then on these set of wet conditions. Let's see what he could do with the Alpine there. Where's Nathan JB? He's in the pit lane as Mark goes quickest with a 17.6. He's currently P4 in the championship in a fight with C4 Gamer down in P6. So he's, oh, Milan spun coming out of turn 3, sorry. Halfway down turn 3, and he's dropped it. Thankfully, he hasn't sustained any damage. He's dropped it in the middle of the track where you want to be. And yeah, spin the car around very quickly as he gets back on the track very safely then. So, first driver to make a mistake on the track as I've seen, whereas his teammate 1 right now. As Giroud Visser puts himself into P2 with a 17.7 then. Q1 then. The best way to approach this qualifying session is you only want one set of tyres, because one set of tyres you can do multiple laps on, as you can see already, because the more laps you do the better it gets, obviously, if you have the fuel. But yeah, if you do two, I can't explain it, but Mr. BT goes up into P4 with a 17.7. That's 3 drivers on a 17.7, Giroud, Walter and Mr. BT, so it's very close up there in the top 4. That's his first lap as Mr. BT. Get out of the... Oh no! Oh, you could see that coming as he just would not get out of the throttle. The rear just kept going, and he faces the wall yet again. That's a shame for Mr. BT. Moments like these, it could just yeah. But Total P's then coming around to set an 18.2, and he puts himself up into 7th place there. And that's his first lap time as Rudy's retired. Was that Rudy's retired? Oh, both Hasses have spun, have they? No, sorry, I couldn't really see. Did you where it says number 2? I thought that was another Haas. It's actually number 2 where it says sector 2 where Rudy is. I thought they both crashed down there, but they didn't. So Rudy then has lost it. Where is he? Oh, he's out there. So unfortunately we've lost 3 drivers, Mr. BT, Rudy and the real DC. Looks like Rudy was going for more than 1 lap. As you can see, he's done 3 laps on those set of tyres, so he's just maybe overstepped the mark there and just planted the throttle, probably lost traction, got on the curb and just went to the wall. Massive impact because he was quite far away from the wall as well, so must have had a massive crash coming out of there. Got the Aston Martin next across the line, that is Ferg, and let's see what lap time he can do then as he pops himself, or stays in 13th place with 19.7. The Alpha Tyre has gone back in the pit lane. Next across the line I think is Alex. Alex has invalidated his lap time, but he's got an Alpine following him, and that Alpine's about to cross the line now to go up or to stay down. I think, which Alpine was it? It was Milan. So Milan's still down in P16 with a 35.8. He's a driver you expect to get himself into Q2 and Q3. We've seen it multiple times. Oh, we got wide again. That's his 2nd time going wide, but he does not invalidate, so he can continue with his lap time. So it looks like Milan's struggling coming out of turn 3 there, just not having the confidence, just to bail out of it and go off the track. Oh, he's lost it, and in the wall he goes. But unlike Rudy, he hasn't lost his wheel, so he's managed to keep going with it. And yeah, he won't be happy. He needs to slow it down. He's lost all of his front wing. I think he was trying to get out of the way of his teammate who's just coming through right now. So he's on the back foot, is Milan. He's got 8 minutes to try and do something in this qualifying session. So Duval then doing 5 lots of those set of wet tyres. So in the drop zone, Milan, Nathan, who has not set a lap time yet, there he is on the intermediate. So I'm wondering, you can see quite a few people on the intermediates now if I go on the tyre graphic. Oh, he's actually hit the wall. Nathan's lost his front wing, cut out the pit exit. And yeah, what I said, he could do more than 1 lap on these inters, but obviously what a waste. He's going to have to do a full lap without a front wing, and that'll cost him a lot of time, crucially as well. As the Aston Martin comes towards turn 4, that's probably Ferg who's making his way down there now. Yeah, no, this is actually his teammate. Oh yeah, it was Ferg. No, it's actually his teammate. You can see Seymour Gamer is right behind him too. There he is. So both Aston Martins just line astern of each other. But yeah, it looks like these conditions are getting better for the intermediates. Mr. BT will be fuming with that one down in P14 there. He would have still been in 3rd place. He was only 1,000 slower than Walter, it seems. As you can see, 17.762 and 17.761. So yeah, he would have been 1 than Walter, but he's going to be absolutely fuming knowing he could have done something in this qualifying session. 4/10 improvement from Seymour Gamer. I think the track's getting better. Had a massive lock up as you can hear the tyres squealing. Gets to the power though, the car is not accepting it. As now he makes his way on the straight there. 1 lap time Seymour Gamer do. I dare say he lost a bit of time with that wheel spin. And he improves. He lost 5/10 that last sector because as you could saw, he gained 5/10 but he lost it immediately after he made that mistake without a Judd Sowell. So, and he's validated it too. But nonetheless, he's still got plenty of time. It looks like these drivers on the intermediates, as he almost lost it coming out of turn 4, turn 3. Let's go on board with Nate. Oh yeah, obviously he has full wind damage. What's Alex doing down there in the Red Bull? Hasn't set a lap time. He's done 6 laps on these wet tyres. And I think he made a mistake throughout all of them. There's his teammate on the left hand side who's just came out the pit lane. Let's have a look at, while most of the drivers are in the pit lane, let's have a look at the championship, shall we? So Walter's obviously won the championship, but the battle for P2 is super close between Jeroen Visser and Total Peas. Only 2 points separate Jeroen and Peas. Total Peas was ahead of Jeroen in the last race, but obviously his penalty put him down into P3, and therefore put Jeroen 2 places up because Mark also had a penalty. So Jeroen Visser actually gained 2 places and went from P4 to P2 after the race. We didn't have a podium interview with him, but obviously he sustained a 5-place grid penalty in the last qualifying session due to contact with Rudy. So if you wonder why Total P sustained a penalty in the Russian Grand Prix, was because he made contact with Walter. He sent him offline, and therefore Total P was able to get him online, did the switch back, just got straight ahead of him. Should he get the position back? I don't know. But in the heat at the moment, you think about the race, probably not the outcome. But on board with Alex then again, coming through turn 1 and now turn 2. Let's see how he takes it. Nicely there from Alex, but he needs to find himself a lap time to get himself into Q2. End of the first sector, what's it going to be? 19.0. I don't have a reference for him because he hasn't set a lap time just yet, so hopefully he can get a lap on the board. But as you can see, most people on the left hand side of your screen have switched over to the intermediates, and he ran wide through there. I'm surprised that's not a validation for him. We've got Milan, we've got Duwall, we've got Nathan on the out lap. Yep, he's definitely validated there. As J-Law goes quickest with a 17.1 in the Williams. And instantly replaced by AJ, who goes up into P1 at a 16.9 then. So these lap times are tumbling as the track conditions get even better. Here comes Walter, is about to cross the line, and he is P5. Oh, he has not improved, he's lost a second on his flying lap, so something must have happened there. As we've got most drivers now, well, I saw Knight has had a problem down there. He was on his flying lap, he went 4/10 quicker on his first sector, but I think he lost it without of the Cedo the Largo, so he's back out of it, and hopefully he's got enough fuel to go for it again. He's got plenty of time and hopefully plenty of fuel, because doing more than one lap is better on these intermediates and the wet tyres, as Griff goes quickest then by 4/10 ahead of AJ, 60.5. So as you can see, the times are tumbling down. Who else is out there? We've got Duwall out there, 2/10 up in the middle, first sector alone. Going in this right-handed here, you just want to sweep it in, get back on the power. Just be careful as well, because the slow speed corners traction is crucial. And what's this middle sector going to be like? 1.6 seconds quicker then, so this should put him up the pecking order. As J-Law goes up into P1 with a 16.4, and AJ's got up into P2. Then J-Law, but Light goes quickest with a 16.0, and what's Duwall going to do? He pops himself up into P5 with a 16.7. Walter has got up to P2 with a 16.1. The Aston Martin next across the line, that is Ferg, who's about to start his flying lap. But where's the Red Bull of Griff in P5? Is he improving? Yes, by half a second, so it's only Q1. But as you can see, these times, it's very important now to get a lot of time in. As Griff then goes quickest with a 15.9. His teammate crosses the line. Does he improve, or can he set a lap time? No, he doesn't. I'm not quite sure how Alex is doing down there in P19. Done 9 laps on the wet tyres, but hasn't set a lap time, so he must be purposely validated all of them. I'm not quite sure he could go 9 laps to validate it. But here comes Nathan then, crosses the line, and he goes up into P12. And next across the line is the Williams, and that is Jeroen Visser, and he goes provisional pole with a 15.5 by 4/10, as Mark puts himself up into P2 now. So these times are tumbling down. Hopefully we can have a dry qualifying session, as Total Peas is up. Has the Red Bull spun? Yeah, has he spun? I'm not quite sure. He was 200 down in the first sector, so I dare say that was a push lap, and he might have overdone it to Griff, so I think he's made a big mistake. Is his front wing still intact? His front wing looks okay, so he's got plenty of laps, he's got plenty of fuel, and probably one more lap time to go for it, but he's backing off and trying to cool the tyres if he has overheated them. But Ferg goes quickest now with a 15.4 in the Aston Martin. Good lap time from him. So who else is next across the line? AlphaTauri of who is it? Farrell Fury has a set lap time, yeah, down in P20. Let's see where the Irishman could go then as he makes his way towards the line. What lap time is this going to be? It's a 60.3, and he pops himself into P10. But C4 Gamer makes it an Aston Martin 1-2. And Alex was tied in the pit lane, so I dare say he has another qualifying ban because he went 10 laps without setting a lap time. As the Red Bull crosses the line now to start another lap time, that was probably to Griff. And there goes Mark with a 15.2. What about Total P's? It's a 15.2. Gets back on provisional pole. As you can see, times being changed. Everybody being tumbling up and down the timing sheets. Walter in P10, P11 now is head Bob as Walter goes quickest with a 14.8, so he's definitely through to Q2. What's happened to Jeroen Visser? In fact, is he safe? Yeah, I think he's safe. Has he retired due to crashing, or has he retired thinking he's safe? I'm not quite sure, but Mr. BT, Rudy, Nathan, DC and Alex, both Hassers have not made it through to Q2. Has Nathan got a qualifying ban? I'm not quite sure. No, he hasn't, because he set a lap time, so he must have crashed or retired in the pit lane somewhere. So Aston Martin then make his way towards the line. That is C4 Gamer, and he goes up into P3. His teammate stays in P6. There goes J Law then, crossed the line to start his last flying lap. It seems to Griff. Where can he go? He goes up into P8. The AlphaTauri, is that Foul Fury? No, it's his teammate. What can Martin do in P5? He goes in the pit lane. He's safe anyway, so he doesn't have to cross the line to set another lap time. But Total P's goes into P3. And you can see the rest of them then. Looks like they're all going to the pit lane. Except the Alfa Romeo. Is that Head Bompia? Head Bompia pops himself up into 8th place. Where's ISO on night? ISO on night P11. Deerwall up into P8. It's like a fruit machine, as Martin Thunder would say. Indy Jesus, where's he going to go? It's P7 at the moment. He goes up into P6 just ahead of Ferg by under 2 tenths. Ferg goes up into P5 on his last attempt with a 15.1. And C4 Gamer is not on a lap time. He's backed out of it, but he is through. Both Aston Martins are looking really good at the moment in P4 and P5. Let's see what they can deliver towards the rest of qualifying and the race. Foul Fury, though, is yet to cross the line. There he is, the Irishman. Can he get in the top 10? No, he doesn't. What about J Law? J Law is 5 tenths up on his previous best. Where can he go? And it's P13 from him. So that's qualifying 1 done and dusted. As we move on to the next session, will it be dry or will it remain wet? Hopefully it could be a dry race, because obviously in a dry race it provides so much action, but at the same time we have a DRS train. So Walter quickest then by 500. Total P just a tenth behind, but crucially, what happened to Jeroen Visser then? Did he actually get knocked out? Oh, it looked like Jeroen Visser's crashed, because as you can see, it's not highlighted. If you make it through, it means you're highlighted, but if you're not highlighted, you haven't made it through. So I wonder if Jeroen Visser crashed on circuit somewhere. I didn't see what happened, but that's crucial for him in his fight with Total P's. Total P's has the upper hand, but sadly for Jeroen Visser down in P15, he will not make it through to Q2, because I believe he's crashed. The bottom 5 get knocked out from 16th to 20th, but 15th place Jeroen has bottled it somewhere around the track, and therefore he'll start down in P15. As you can see, a 50.5, so where should he be? 50.547, he should be in P8, he should be in P8, but he's not, so yep, that's him out of Q2, Q1, and Total P's has the upper hand. Desperate times there for Jeroen Visser. He needs to get it absolutely spot on. He can't afford any mistakes. Same with Total P's though. He can't afford any mistakes whatsoever either. As we make our way into Q2 then with 10 seconds left to go. Can you please watch Head Bob more? No problem, mate. Always like to give him a watch. Ben says he wants me to invite him to a party. Yeah, so it's still raining in Q2 then, as we've got Head Bombia fans in the chat. I was racing with Head Bombia, he was at a party with me a week ago when we were both racing here in Brazil. I just noticed that second place, is that Ferg? It's got to be Ferg surely, because he's changed his name to Freg. So apologies if you want to be called Freg, not Ferg, because I actually didn't see that until now. So hopefully that's still the same person, it should be the same person, Freg. Mr. BT, I have invited you to the party.
Hello.
Hello, Bottle, how are you?
Absolutely wonderful, mate. How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you. So,
tell you what, to everyone on the stream, this guy texted me asking me to commentate, forgot I was racing, and then I crashed in Q1 anyway, so I'm going to join you for the rest of the quali if that's alright. Yeah,
that's no problem, mate. So
yeah, I've got some inside information. The track is going to be drying up at the end of Q2, so this phase doesn't matter too much. It's much more a case of who can get back into the pits, who can avoid crashing like many of us did in Q1, and who can set those final times. Anyway, you were saying something before I interrupted.
Whilst on the lap time, I think he made a slight mistake into Q2, but he's on his way to turn 4 now. Clipping the curb nicely there, getting back on the throttle. This is the seat of the log,
this time I snapped there, yeah. He snapped there twice, and I was watching him, he nearly spun it. At exactly that corner, going through there flat in the wet can be quite challenging. And I think the thing with traction at this track, which is why so many of us crashed in the wet, is that it can catch you so unawares. Like one little moment and you're just sliding into a barrier. I mean, generally the quality of racing in Cone is pretty high, but I mean, seeing 6 people crash in Q1 is really unnatural for a league of this standard. As you see, Valter, he's understeered a lot through that corner actually, and a major lockup coming into the last corner, but he's hit the apex all right, and he's going to power down.
Usually DRS will be enabled, but it's wet right now, but makes his way towards the line. It's a 50.4, not too far away from what he did in Q1. McLaren next across the line, that is Duwell, and he pops himself into second place there.
Second off, yeah. Is that head bump here? He's done an invalid 15 full, so quite close to Valter. I think a few of these guys have invalidated their laps. Especially, everyone's looking up, which kind of gives me the track. I mean, it stopped raining. It really gives me the impression that this track is going to be ready for slicks in a couple minutes.
This is the opposite of what I had a few weeks ago or a week ago in a league race where it went from wet to dry or dry to wet, and it was a full qualifying session as well. You have to be on it at all times. You want to be the first guy out there, or in this terms, the last guy out there, because obviously it's transitioned to the dry conditions. But Seymour Gamer goes P1 with a 15.1 ahead of his teammate 15.2.
Always good in the wet. Yeah, Aston Martin 1-2 right now. And I think what's great about these conditions, it's happened a few times this season, is that it can sometimes catch the usual contingent. There's about sort of like the Valter, the Pease, Jeroen, who you see up there all the time. It's already caught Jeroen off guard. It might catch the other two off as well, because it's these conditions are so unpredictable. So who goes out isn't entirely based on pace like it usually is.
This is the exact opposite of my qualifier session, because it was dry and it started raining very early.
Yeah.
And yeah, now this is the exact opposite situation. You want to be the last man to cross the line. It's Head Bombia up into P7 with a 50.5. Look at the times, Ben. They're so close, aren't they?
They are so close, yeah. Everyone's in the 15s apart from Duwell. I saw had a bit of a snap on his lap. I thought he'd spun. As we see,
I saw a nice spin. Yeah.
Knight, yeah. I don't know if he's lost wing, but he's going very slowly into the pit. So got caught out by that devious back straight as Fur crosses the line, but doesn't improve. Speaking about that league, you had those conditions in here. I mean, what do you think about that? Okay, I'm not even going to plug Switchback on the Cone channel, but maybe another time. But you're talking about my league, right? About
yeah, it was your league, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, because it was dry. It was dry right at the start, and then it went to winters.
Almost immediately. So basically, we all had to get out of the track and fighting for track position as well. But obviously, we're all fighting, so there's no point overtaking each other because we might end up in contact. But it was very difficult because I was at the start of the pit lane, I think, or in the middle somewhere, and obviously I take a long time to get out of the garage by checking the weather, checking the tyres and checking the fuel twice. So
and you see everyone's gone, yeah.
Yeah, it was annoying because I was fifth or sixth in the queue, and therefore the rain came down, and you had to get it absolutely spot on. No one mistake or not one invalidation either, otherwise that's qualifying
Ooh.
potentially ended very early on. As Milan goes quickest with the
Yeah,
40.
dips into the 14s again.
Yeah, first drive in the 14. So I was talking about ISO all night. It's not the first time I've seen a mistake in this qualified session. Oh, Milan's lost it on the curb. He's in the wall. No! Oh, he saves it.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's so close. Milan,
Such a tricky
heartbreaking
corner.
moment there. Could have been a heartbreaking moment there.
Be devastating. Goes P1 by 2/10 straight at Q2 as we see. Mark coming through turn 2 now. Hasn't even floored the throttle. He is so tentative, knowing how risky it is, especially on this drying surface on the inters. The traction will be very difficult.
Do you think it's wise to come in the pit lane now? Because obviously it's drying up, like you said. And if these drivers continue on these inters, like Mark's doing, he could potentially put it in the wall, knowing they could have got on the softs later. Yeah.
I mean, looking at the track, it looks like it'll. I wouldn't exactly love to drive on slicks on this track, but I think they'll be faster than inters at this point. Although, I mean, you can still see his tyres kicking up a little bit of water, but it's a far cry from what it was at the start of the session, that's for sure.
In these low speed corners, it'll be very difficult to apply traction in these drying on this drying track. What will he do? Will he dip in the pit lane at the very end of this lap, or will he continue? His middle set to 6/10 start, so I think
yeah, 6/10 down. You can see he's understeering at every corner now. His tyres will be massively overheating.
Jav says, hello Mr. BT.
Hello Jav. Oh yeah, I've seen Jav in the NLR chat all the time. Rather the best team around. I thought I had a mock-up. I thought I had a lock-up from Mark's car, but then I remembered. Anyway, so we've seen a few drivers selecting the softs. Well, 3 of them in the garage, but I reckon we're going to have a few minutes of rest, and they're all going to be out again fighting for track position. Because I mean, as you said, it's the last out, the last to set a lap who will be fastest in the session. So, I mean, it's really great watching much more stressful driving. I've been in these situations a number of times, and it is even more pressure than you usually get. As PC's going to cross the line, and PC's going to improve actually, only by 1/10, but
I think, Ben, I'd rather have the transition go from wet to dry instead of dry to wet, because you have to perfect it, especially early qualified session where it's low grip, and you have to absolutely blitz it in the first qualified session. Because I got Q1 absolutely spot on. I got into P2 in Q1 because the rain was coming after I set my flying lap time. So I'd rather have it from wet to dry, because it's nice to dry in the wet at the same time. When it goes to dry, you have more chances, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think dry to wet. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I just wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
It depends how long the rain's coming. Like, if it's like 8 minutes till the rain comes, that's fine, because obviously we've got time to put the dry practice in.
First off runner is out.
But if it's like, where is he? He's P9.
It's
if it's like, what's it called? 2 minutes till the rain comes, like, you're gonna get out there straight away. There's a lot of pressure, because you know in your mind, if you make one mistake, that's qualified potentially done within like 2 minutes of starting it. Or if you make a slight mistake, you know that other people might not, and yeah, they'll go quicker. But interesting, the Milan switched over to the medium compound tyres.
He's gone to the mediums. So maybe looking to, oh, here we go, DRS enabled. That is usually the telltale sign as a lead racer that is drying up. So, but T-Griff is the only one who's out right now. I wouldn't say it's the wisest idea to be out at this point, to be honest, because he's still got 5 minutes left. I mean, you can tell by how much he's locking his tyres with very little brake input. It's not really, I don't think it's, well, I mean, the softs are going to be faster, but I wouldn't say it's time for them, because this lap, if he sets it, is going to be nowhere near competitive at the end of the session. So if I was him, I would really wait it out a bit more as he comes into turn 1. Yeah. That's
because the track's dry and it's improving and evolving as well, and it's like more tire temperature, more grip around the surface as well. So that's probably why you want to go out later. Like you said, this is too early.
He's going to have to be so careful. Yeah, he's had to be so careful on the throttle. I mean, usually you're flat out almost through turn 2, but I mean, he had to wait until the last moment. So they're faster, but he's only 4/10 up on his inter time, which obviously is a big margin, but in comparison, I mean, it's not actually going to make that much of a difference when it comes to the end of the session.
Usually in this corner, like, you take it almost flat, but you have to lift off slightly, but he lifted off quite a lot, so not carrying the speed he really wants to naturally on these dry tyres that you really would on the dry track, which it will be dry, and therefore it could be his downfall towards the later of the session, because obviously him setting his lap time now might cost him later in the session while everybody else has a drier track.
I would box. He's 2.3 up, so he's going to probably want to set his time out of just instinct.
He's not making mistakes, but he's not taking the corners as quick as he wants to. Or
No, he's been wide of a few apexes. I would box if I was him, but he's going to set it. He's going to get in the 13s, I think.
Nah,
so I mean, he's 2 seconds faster. That's nowhere near enough. I mean, we're going to see mid 6s in the last session, I think.
Mid 6s or mid 7s, but Milan is on the medium compound tyre. If he commits to that, obviously the soft tyres are more malleable compared to the medium compound tyres.
There's more of a difference. I mean, I did a race here, and I stuck on, it was inters until about lap 6. I stuck on the hards, and a guy who I was a little bit faster than, he gained about 4 seconds of me in 2 laps, because when you don't get your operating, like the dry tyres operating, and Milan has actually switched to the softs. Yeah, when you don't get them operating at a good temperature, you are finished in wet conditions, because you slide everywhere. There's no grip for any corners, and yeah, the soft tyres are much better at getting into the working range than the hards are.
Did you see what happened
hard
to
mediums?
Sorry to interrupt again. Did you see what happened to Jeroen Visser in Q1, because I didn't see him?
Well, I was in party with him, and well, Nathan had the game had automatically reset into track. He has a broken brake pedal, unfortunately, and and Jeroen shouted at Nathan, and then I think when he got to turn 1 or 2, he spun the car. I wasn't watching him, but I think he spun it on an outside barrier. He must have lost it on a curb. But yeah, that was myself, and he'll be starting on the 8th row today, so a lot of work to do for Jeroen. He usually does find himself towards the front in qualifying, as I'm watching Farron out come through this double apex right hander. I can't quite remember the name, and he does lift a bit, but it's much more confident. It's the what, sorry?
I think it begins with P. I'm not quite sure. I had it actually up on my screen. Federera, I think it is.
I know some of the cool names. I know the last one is Junkao, for instance. Yeah, Farrell, it's looking Junsao, same thing, and he's looking really unsteady through there. He's pushing. He's on a 52.9, which is obviously way faster than T Griff was. Do you know what? I think Griff, if he gets out now, he's actually timed this perfectly. Yeah, I can see his mechanics warming up in the background.
The thing is, though,
Farrell's going to set a.
In fact,
he has one lap.
I was going to say that he's going to use an extra set of soft tyres, but obviously Q1 he didn't really use that extra set, so he could put on no tyres for Q1. As ISO 9 goes quickest then, perfect lap time for him at 9.7. Then we've got more across the line. Then we've got Mercedes across the line. That's AJ.
It's AJ, yeah. He's going to get into. Oh, he's actually he hasn't set a competitive time there. I think he must have backed out.
Or made a mistake somewhere.
The Ferrari coming across the line. That's Indian Jesus. He's starting his lap time now, and Bumpio also starting his lap. Is that Ferg? And that's Sieb. I think invalidated as well.
Yeah, he didn't improve, so his teammate Ferg is on a lap. He's 1.4 seconds quick in the first sector. Hit Bobia is in the first sector.
Oh, Jay Lawless Purple, he is about a second up on Farrell's time, so I think he's going to go fastest here, getting a very distant distance literally for the McLaren and CRL do well, and yeah, he does an 8.7, so this track ramping up all the time.
Keep it on Ferg, though, he might go quickest with an 8.1, but crucially Ferg encountered a bit of traffic with Mark in the last corner. Might have disrupted him a little bit in terms of turbulent there, but didn't affect him too much, and yeah, goes quickest by 6.10, so good lap time. That's an AlphaTauri next to cross the line. Is that Mark in P11? That's his teammate Foul Fury, who goes up into
P7.5, there we go. That is P's. Yeah, 7.5, that is a competitive time. That might be the first one that's kind of shows that true dry pace, or close to it at least. Maybe about a second off. I see Indian Jesus coming across the line.
Next across the line. P3 for Het Bobia. So no, and Seagull Gamer goes quickest.
Never mind. Seagull Gamer with a 7.5. But of course, he's going to tumble it down the order now, because if everyone manages to fix their laps, I think that's Jay Lawler who's gone. If everyone manages to fill out their laps, then Steve still could be in trouble. I mean, he's down on his lap. He's not improving it.
There comes Duwell.
McLaren.
Goes P3.
7.7, decent from him. P3. I think that's Mark. As he kept his lap valid, he has. He's done 50.8, but that is going to put him fastest, I think. Yep, 7.3.
What about Ferg? He stays in P4. In fact, he goes he goes P4, but he improves.
P's is 3/10 up. Valter 0.316. The true nature of these times, so close to each other. P's was 3.5 up, but he has no ERS.
Foul Fury goes P3. At total, P's goes quickest with a 7.2, but keep it up a lap.
He had no ERS.
The only driver on the medium compound tyres. Milan, you want
See,
to keep
grip
it
goes
out
into
him.
P6. Yeah, Milan, and you can see the grip is lacking for him. I think Milan's going to be out here. Yeah, he's definitely out.
Yeah.
He's already beyond it. He's going to go into the nines. But yeah, Milan, the medium tyre gamble has not worked out for him. And AJ's knocked out actually. Knight, Jay Lawler, who messed up his lap, and Milan are going to be the 4 drivers out here. But as we predicted, everyone managed to get a time in sub 110. But yeah, Milan the only guy on the mediums, and he's a very fast driver, so he will not be happy with that one at all.
So in a normal Q2 session where it's dry, fully dry, would you go on the medium tyres? Because I think I remember doing, but obviously Ray came later, so that's why I started the medium compound tyres. But everybody in the top 10, or in the top 13 except Milan on the soft compound tyres, it hasn't worked out for Milan. It's too far away, about 1.9 seconds slower compared to J Lord out of P13. But yeah, total P's, they're crucially first ahead of Walter. 2 AlphaTauris of Alpha Fury surprised me as well. 3rd and 4th for both AlphaTauris.
He's done well today. He showed some good pace in practice, for sure.
Gave him a P5, to Griff in P6, Ferg in P7, Duval in P8. Head Bompierre got himself into Q3 just because he was in P11, then got him to P9. Indian Jesus in P10, AJ, big shocker in P11, ISO Knight in P12, J Law P13 and Milan, who tried to go on the medium compound tyres but it didn't quite work out. It will start down in P14 then.
And yeah, that was what we were talking about, because although the delta won't show up, it shows up at about a second slower, I believe, on the medium tyres. It's going to be much more of an impact than that when you've got a drying track, because the grip is nowhere. With like, I mean, every extra inch of grip the tyre adds, you're going to gain a lot of time, and that's, well, Milan fell short when he really, if he'd been on the softs, I would have expected him to be up there knowing his pace. I mean, he was the fastest on the wets, pretty much. As we go into Q3 now, an exciting session. I believe it is going to be dry, although I mean, this game can throw up all sorts of surprises.
But very impressed by Fury because he's been knocked out most of the season in Q1 and Q2. But I think, I'm not quite sure how many times he's got into Q3 this season, but he's done a fantastic job, and he'll be starting in the top 10 for this race in Brazil.
As Rudy is opting not to load in. But we have the session starting in no time at all. He's left.
To retake the Drivers' Championship, so Walter, if I'm reading the wrong thing here, was it Russia last race? Yeah, it was Russia, never mind.
It was,
but Walter, still P1 in the Championship, he can't be beaten. But the fight between Jeruvisa and Total P's is so close, only 2 points separate them. Total P's lost a crucial amount of points in Russia after sustaining a race penalty, and dropped it down into P3. Jeruvisa benefited from 2 penalties, that's from Mark and Pease, and got himself into P2 in the race. He's currently P2 but has a 2-point lead. But in this race, he's down in P15, so he needs to have a good race if he wants to stay ahead in the championship. But Total Pease has the upper hand at the moment. But will it swing back to Jeruvisa's favour in the race due to safety calls or whatever? What happens in the race? AJ in P6 there. Hebompier in P7, only a few points away from AJ. Griff in P8, 2 points separates the gap between Griff and Duval, both of them are racing, and Griff, both drivers are in Q3 then, so it's like with Giroud and Total P's, Duval and Griff needs to finish ahead of each other in order to stay ahead of each other or get ahead of each other in that sense. Nathan on the Frenches in P10 there, he's only 4 points, 3 points behind, ahead of Rudy. Rudy is, they're both out of Q1, Rudy and Nathan, they're both starting next to each other, so they need to try and finish ahead of each other, get some good points. DC down in P12, I think DC's done a fantastic job all season. Ferg in P13 there. On his return back, he got himself a podium and he secured a good 4th place
and he hasn't been racing half the season as well. And he's a very strong driver, and of course he hadn't played for a while. But I mean, coming back to the game, I believe last season's champion, although I wasn't here to witness it, he's getting that getting that pace back bit by bit. So yeah.
ISO 90 P14. He's had some good results. ISO, I remember a race. I think it was it Canada? I'm not quite sure, but I think Canada. He showed his pace there, and a few other races this season. Knowsley in P15 there. Alex, he's won one of the quiet races this season. Mr. B2, who bottled a race win in Britain, he's currently down at P16.
With still somehow my best result of the season as well.
It's okay, Ben. You'll get your chance soon, mate.
Next season, ABS off, new me. As you see, Ferg dip into.
I'm going on board with Hepop. He's the first man to cross the line. I'm going on board with him.
Cool. I'm on board with him as well.
Slow speed corners then. Make sure the front end don't wash out through here. Short shifters get traction. I know people lose it through here due to traction. Take a wider entrance goes down to first gear, extra rotation, short shift through the gears, twitchy on the exit there, but
Yeah,
in this
very
part,
twitchy
flat
there.
out through this corner, but obviously the race you want to lift off because of the dirty air as well. Some people take that curb, some people don't, depending on the setup and the confidence. I take the curb. I did before, but due to my setup change, I took the curb. Then take a tight line through here, DRS wide open through here. Just keep to the left-hand side, not too left though, because it could give you a bit of validation. And his lap time is a 7.0.
7.0. P's gone across the line now, and he beats that with a 106.8. It's the first man to dip into the 60s. Says Farrell Fury only just behind Bubia with a 7.101.
Who's
I think
next
that's
across the
Mark, who does a 6.892, very close between these two. Walter, 7.0. Is that DeWill?
Yep.
He's a little bit off the pace of the 7.5. I don't think he'll be too happy with that.
Ferg
Is
in
that
P7?
Ferg now?
P4.
Goes up to P4. And
Anti-Griff.
Gamer hasn't validated. Anti-Griff is 7, but a 7.5, so just in front of DeWill. But yeah, I mean, the top 6 separated by just over 2 tenths, and that is characteristic of such a short track.
Yeah, it's like Austria. You can do like 3 laps around here, but with the short track, Austria's shorter than Brazil. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah, it is. You can do like 3, almost into the 2s. But that's probably the 2020 game where the cars were so quick. But in the 2021 game, only a bit slower than the 2020 cars. But it's a short track. You can potentially do 3 laps around here, and the tyre wear not being so high as well. So if you mess up on your first lap on the soft compound tyres, you could either go into the pit lane and put a brand new set of softs, or back out of it, depending where. Oh, Sieb. Yeah, out of Jug's out.
Is he? That is a dangerous position. I don't know how he's not been disqualified now in the nature of this game. But yeah, Spanish style, probably on the exit.
Paul Di Resta crashed there back in 2012 when it was the wet conditions, and his teammate Hulkenberg almost won the race.
Which of course won Sebastian Vettel the championship, or at least confirmed it. As
Bruno Senna almost ended Vettel's championship hopes when he crashed into the back of him.
Oh, that was awful.
I remember seeing that live. I thought Bruno Senna actually took off Vettel's rear wing. I was frustrated being a Vettel fan, but it was Senna and Perez who managed to get out of the race, and Vettel continued finishing to win the championship ahead of Fernando Alonso. Crazy race. Hulkenberg crashed into Hamilton after sliding into turn 1 into his front left tyre. There was back markers there like Heikki Kovalainen, Charles Pic and all them getting in the way. That could have also impacted them. It was a wet track as well, just a slippery surface. But yeah, many things happened in that race. That's how good Brazil is. It's nail-biting stuff around Brazil, because obviously
it's brilliant. Almost every year it always delivers.
This will hurt Felipe Massa fans, but obviously in the last corner, the last race where he took the championship, Lewis Hamilton, and in the last race this season, not in this season, this season in real life, Hamilton versus Verstappen,
with arguably one of the best drivers of all time. I mean, absolutely sensational.
Let us know your comments below. Who do you think is going to win the championship? Honest opinions. Don't just say Verstappen. Don't just say Verstappen or Hamilton because they're your favourite drivers. Just say due to honest opinion. My favourite driver is Verstappen, but I think Hamilton will win due to the nature of the car and his fantastic drive through the last part of the season where he's won 3 races in a row.
Hamilton is known for, he's handled the pressure so many times. I mean, almost every time he's been in this situation. I mean, a couple of times he's fallen short, but I mean, he's just been in so many of these situations that championship title fights that he's always going to have a couple misses. But he knows how to win a championship, that's for sure. It's just Will actually stayed out on the same set of tyres and improved by a fair few temps. I mean, he's now got to get trundled back to the pits in low fuel mode, which will not be a fun experience for him at all.
He's done 3 laps on those set of soft tyres. Not really what he do in Q3. That's usually Q1 type of stuff. But Q3, you want to go for a run, come back to the pit lane, go for a run, come back to the pit lane, or obviously if you've got more tyres, just go for a run. But obviously Q1, you saved your set of soft tyres because of the rain. I don't know how many tyres he used in Q2, maybe two sets there. That's probably why he's done it. So he goes on to a brand new set of his last set of soft tyres in Q3 to do his final run. But Bobblehead Bobby, I think he had a purple set to flash up on his screen.
He's about 600th up on a pretty decent banker. I mean, I love watching Mbombier drive, probably the most out of anyone here, because he's so elegant with his wheel and his brakes. He's a very intelligent driver. He's got a few podiums this season and last season as well. He's done a fantastic job, Mbombier. Hopefully we'll have more of him in next season's race, because he's gone wide there, a bit of understeer kicked in. Yeah, and that has lost a lot of time. I think that corner lost all the time for him. Before that he was flying. Yeah, locked up coming into the right-hander. And then he just induced loads of understeer, so he's going to have to get back into the pits if he wants to set another time. Farrell is 2 tenths up.
Let's go with him.
He's lost 3 tenths in the middle. Oh, it's a disaster for him. He will not be happy with that. Because I mean, he did a .505, which is a very quick first sector.
Do you find this track difficult, Ben?
On this game I do, because of the curbs and the way it's in qualifying, especially. Well, I mean, I think in the first stint, I'm just going to put it out there, the overheating is going to be crazy. I mean, I did practice. I really reduced my pressures, and especially for the ABS users, because they can't manage it as well, and the pad users. But
I love
the
this track.
overheating is going to cause some problems. I do love this track.
I love this track.
Last game.
I love this track, but the problem is turn 1 and turn 2. I just can't find the right line through turn 1 and turn 2. My tyres may be good, but if I take turn 1 and turn 2 properly, I could find like extra 2 tenths or something. I just can't find a rhythm into turn 1 and turn 2. After that, I'm perfectly fine. Love the track.
It's one of those make or break corners, really, in racing. I mean, if you don't get that right and you nail the rest of your lap, I mean, it's well, I mean. There's part of that with every track, but I think turn 1 and 2, especially because it's so easy to invalidate, really had it's quite a pressuring dynamic when you're especially in qualifying here, because you're just coming up like that long run down the back straight. You sort of like think, what happens if I mess up turn 1 and 2, and well, it can happen quite often. But yeah, as we see, Mark is currently in P2, knowing him, and he's been bragging about his pace all week here.
Yeah, he has.
He's been tipped as the favourite by the other boys. He's gone out quite early, maybe hoping to get 2 runs in if he invalidates his first run, which is what I personally always like to do. As we see a few other cars drifting out the pit slowly, but Mark has a very clear track ahead of him, and we can go on board when he starts his lap.
Yeah, so they're all on a brand new set of tyres, including a head bumpy after he messed up his second run. So they all had 3 tyres really, because they saved some tyres in Q1 and potentially Q2 as well. Those drivers that needed to go for it again. So Mark, then the first man out of the track in this last part of qualifying. He could do 2 laps if he wants to, but if he messes up this first run on a brand new set of softs and go for another one, he's got the time, he's got the tyre wear as well. DRS is enabled then, and will take you through a 4.3 kilometers, a 2.6 mile circuit. Cross the line now, quit his turn 1, go all the way to the right, which he doesn't do. Usually I go all the way to the right. You want to clip the apex into first corner, then run it one on the curb on the second part, get a good exit.
That's strong.
Yeah, very good.
Very, very strong first 2 corners from Mark as he comes down the back straight now. Let's see what his first sector time is. It's a 16.5, which is very similar to what his team at Farah Fury did. Takes a lot of inside curve coming through the retroposte. Now sweeps down into I can't remember what it's called.
Lago.
Casino del Lago.
I think it's Perotardo or something like that.
Perotardo, yeah. And Mark is taking this very well. He's flying right now. Sure, she's up to third. A little bit of a moment on the exit. That will cost him a little bit of time. Down into this tight right hand. He keeps it in second gear, but he's actually got a very good exit from that. And Mark is going to be up, I think. He's only a 10th up.
Lost a bit of time in that middle sector due to his little mistake at the exit of one of the slow speed corners. But now, coming to the last part on the straight, keep it as tight as you can to minimise the distance. Keep it all the way to the left. What's it going to do? It's going to be a 6.7. Yeah, 7, quickest. 5.
It's quickest, but I don't think it's really what Mark would expect from himself. I know his PB is roughly a 0.5 or a 0.4. He's so... and it's a decent lap. It'll definitely get him towards the front of the grid. But will it be pole?
He's 1 tenth up, almost 2 tenths up in the middle sector. So keep an eye. He needs to get his exit spot on, which he has done, and he could find himself on the front row if he continue with his lap time. DRS enabled
only
now.
Just about down on Mark.
What's he going to do? Head bump
down the back straight. Come on, head bump here. He goes into P3, very close to P's. Fred goes past him on 6.7, yeah. But P's is 1.5 tenths up. Valter did a 6.7. P's is nearly 3 tenths up, 50.1. That is significantly faster than Mark. And I think this is going to be another total P's pole position.
2 tenths up,
unless the other boys, yeah, nearly 3 as well. Total P's is going to come across the line now. And he's going to do 1 on 6.6. He gets it by a 10th or any of the other boys on laps. Ferg is, but he has no ERS. Mark is not. Mark's going for another one.
Is it? Yeah, he is. 15 seconds left to go. And that's what I said about going out earlier.
Sensational, yeah. It's clever from Mark, and he's just about got it.
That's what I usually do as well. What about Tegriff? Duwell goes P5, but Tegriff then 2 tenths up in the middle sector. Where can he go? It's going to be P. Stays in P9 for him. 7.3.
crashed.
Oh dear, where is he?
crashed on the exit of turn 1. That is a disaster for him. Just going on board with Duwell's car.
As I said, lap time, Steve. He was up there like the top 5, but sadly
Mark
for him, he's dropped
it. And he has some ERS. So can Mark pull it out? I think he was a little bit shaky in the middle sector.
Walter's backed out.
through,
Walter has backed out. He ain't got enough fuel.
Ferg retires. So right now, Pease is on pole, unless Mark can do anything about it right now. A little bit better on the exit there, although it didn't look too comfortable from the Maltese AlphaTauri driver. But he's straight down on the throttle again.
I thought you said Maltese then.
Dear. Oh! He could have it, you know?
Improving. If he
This
gets
could
this last
be
corner spot
Mark's
on.
second part of the season, first race, last race. Could it be for Mark? I think the ERS is just about going to stay intact for him. He's going to take a shorter run to the line as he can. Will it be pole for Mark?
Oh.
He's just missed it, and he will be fuming. He's got ahead of third. But that will not be what Mark wanted. He starts on the front row, but Total Peas once again pulls it out the bag. And that is 1.5 hundredths of a second. Incredible margins here in Interlagos, but Pease is on pole.
And look at Ferg in P3 on the second row along with Walter. He's done a fantastic job to get himself up there in P3. Looks like he's finding his rhythm again after taking a break from races due to his personal life.
Sure.
But it's nice to see him back in P3, the defending, well, not the defending champion anymore because Walter took it, but a champion of CRL in P3. Duval did a fantastic job as well in P5. He is fighting with Tegriff for P8 in the championship. Tegriff down in P9, a 7.3 for him, so quite disappointing qualifying session for him nonetheless, but there's still the race to go. Indian G's is down in P8, did a fantastic job. And Foul Fury as well, we usually see him in Q1 and Q2 getting knocked out in those sessions, but he got himself into P7. And C4 Gay, what a disappointment for him down in P10. Like you said, he crashed out to tail 1, so the pressure probably got to him and therefore lost at the exit of the corner. But sadly for him, he'll start down in P10. Not where he wants to be though, because people outside the top 10 will go on the medium compound tyres, go for a longer stint compared to the others. But Ben, nice to have you here, mate, and sadly you're going to go back to your race.
I'll probably be joining you in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't crash, mate.
You see me on lap 1 the last 4 races. I also took out night as well. I'm gonna try not to try not to go flying on the grass.
Just keep
but yeah,
it nice
anyway,
and tight,
hopefully I'll be back. Well, hopefully I won't be back.
Hopefully you won't be back.
hopefully I'll be back for the podium interviews at the end. But yeah, anyway, best of luck, and yeah, to anyone watching, enjoy the race. It's going to be a good one. Everyone's going to be super hyped up for this. So yeah. Everyone is already hyped up, but yeah, such close qualifying, and hopefully the race can replicate. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Best of luck, Jamie.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Just went to get a glass of water. Nice to have Ben in the commentary box with me. But yeah, now it's time for the race. Final race of the season. Looking forward to this. Excitement going on between Total Peas and Drew Vizza. Not so far. Drew Vizza being knocked out in Q1, or shall I say, he didn't get knocked out in Q1. He crashed in Q1, but therefore he couldn't take part because he had a damaged car in Q2. So, what can he do for P15 there? Let's hope he has good race pace. Obviously, he's going to start the medium compound tyre. But yeah, there's the grid then. Total Peas on pole position. He's done a fantastic job this season. I can't say it enough for Total Peas. Imagine if he had this form in the first part of the season, challenging Walter for the championship, but there's always next season. So yeah, 11th downwards, except Rudy and DC, they've got on the soft compound tyres. Whereas Drew, he's on a medium compound tyre, so only 2 people outside the top 10 on the soft compound tyres. The hard is not a good race tyre around it. It's the softs or mediums. It's an easy one stop around here. Soft to medium. Or mediums to softs in that case. Excitement this week because the last race of the season is CRL and in the actual F1 Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi. Can't wait for that one. 3 days to decide who is going to be the champion in 2021, Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen. All week we've been thinking about this. Pressure getting towards us Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton fans. I can't wait to see who is crowned champion on Sunday. But hopefully it'll be a good race in Abu Dhabi. Best championship we've seen in a long time since Nico and Lewis back in 2016. Once this is out of the way, everybody's going to be nervous, especially me. I'll be thinking about it when I'm at work on the weekends, just thinking about the race, the outcome, who could be the champion, Lewis or Max. But regardless of who's champion in 2021, Lewis or Max, it's been a fantastic season. You've got to give it that. No matter if you're a Lewis or Max fan, yeah, there's been controversial seasons, but you're going to get controversy in every single season in a championship fight. There's never going to be a clean championship fight. But like in the centre of Ross days, Vettel versus Alonso, etc. Nico versus Lewis, Fernando versus Seb. There's always going to be drama. You just can't get away with it. That's what makes F1 F1. Without it, what would it be? You've got to see it from a neutral point perspective as well. As long as you enjoy it, that's all it matters. Maybe it's hard by the end of the season if your favourite driver don't win. But on to CRL for the last race of the season. Who is going to win? Rudy won the first race of the season. Who's going to win the last race of the season then? As 5 lights are now out, and away we go then for round 15. Has Mark got a better start? No, Total Peace gets a good start, but look at that, alongside him is Ferg. Will Ferg try and go around the outside? There's Walter on the inside, but Mark takes the lead around the outside. He goes around the outside of Total Peace and he takes the lead initially. There's Ferg, he's on the inside line of Mark. He's in the slipstream of him. Total Peace squeezes him, but he has to back out the throttle, and here comes Walter. Will he go down the inside? No, he stays in 4th position, but Mark takes the lead in this race. Had the outside line into turn 2, into turn 3, a better slipstream as well, and got ahead of him. So that's a good start there. But Giroud up into P11. He's had a fantastic start. He's from P15 to P11 within 5 corners. That's a fantastic start. He's the highest speedy runner in P11, so he's not messing about in tonight's race. So Mark leads then ahead of Total Peace. Ferg in P3 tried to make a move on Total Peace but squeezed him and had to get out of the throttle, and therefore it was Total Peace's position. Walter looking interested on Ferg as well. He's right behind him. And we've got some moves going on in the midfield there. We've got Indian Jesus being overtaken by Seymour Gamer trying to go around the outside, but he can't do so. Not enough room there, so he has to stop behind him. But he's right behind him on the straight as they're both burned off the ERS on this straight then. Look at that, there's Giroud in the background just lurking. Will he get past Seymour Gamer going into turn 1? There he is. Seymour Gamer trying to go around the outside into turn 1. Better get better camera angle there. But it looks like Indian Jesus stays ahead for the time being then. And Total Peace can't make an impact, but Mr. BT, will he have to join me in the commentary session? Oh dear, he's lost his front wing. Yep, that's his race already over. I expect him to be in the commentary box with me shortly. But Total Peace all over the back of Mark in the early stages of this race. C4 Gamer is all over the back of Indian Jesus as well. This is going to be a DRS train as Rudy gets ahead of AJ. They go side by side, but Rudy though might pick up a warning due to being off the track, but he continues this fight. He goes down the inside of AJ in these slow speed corners, and the Hash driver squeezes AJ off the track and stays ahead of him in P14. There's the other Hash of Nathan JB in P16 as well. AJ's under pressure from his brother right there. And look at my lad, he's all over the back of ISO 09 for P12, so that's a fight going on there. They're both on the medium compound tyres, but Milan is all over the back. Remember, Milan started in the top 10, so he dropped some positions as the fastest lap goes towards Mark, and DRS is now enabled. The Seymour Gamer is trying to go down the inside. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. Has he got enough room there? Therefore, he has to stay behind just for a bit. Is Walter close enough to make a move? No, he's not. The DRS train is now happening. And Milan's dropped into P16, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. As Rudy's got past ISO 09 up into P12, he goes. Rudy on the soft compound tyre, you expect him to make some moves. There's J Law, and there's Milan going side by side as Mr. BT. He has to join me in the commentary box now. So his race is over on lap 1. He expects him to see me alongside him. And look at that. You can see Milan going off the track, so therefore, oh, they come together, and J-Law just slammed the door shut on my boy Milan, and he drops down into P19. And look at that, he's in the commentary box with me.
You knew I was never going to leave you. Even though I wasn't out.
Nah,
you know
Walter. Here comes Walter on third to go side by side, coming towards the last few corners.
Got in front, yeah, hasn't he?
Who's got the DRS though? No one's got the DRS. It's lap 3, so he's activated the next lap. Yeah. Total P sets the fastest lap of the race.
That's weird. Yeah, P's and Mark have gapped Valter and Freg by a couple, or by a second now. So they're gonna struggle to get back in there because we know these boys are quick. Is P's gonna go for a move though? No, he's too far back, and he's already really low on ERS as well. P's, he's run about 30%. So he needs to be breaking really early in the
Indeed Jesus goes down the inside of Foul Fury. They squeezed each other. Foul Fury's not giving this position up. They squeeze. Got to be very careful not to send each other off the track like Shully did. And Adrian Sutter when they came together and took Fernando Alonso out of the process with them at 2. So thankfully that doesn't happen, and Indeed Jesus stays ahead of Foul Fury. So Walter then, after overtaking Ferg early on in this race, he needs to get himself back in that 1 second range of DRS. Otherwise, it would fall apart from Mark and Total Peace. Mark holding on, desperately wants to win this race. I don't think he's had a race victory this season, Mark. I don't think he has. He's got a few podiums at least, but he hasn't got a race victory. So he's looking to try and secure his first win of the season. And he's got a lot to work to do because he's got Total Peace right behind him. Total Peace experienced in race wins. Nah, Total Peace experienced fast driver. You don't want to be having him in the rear view mirrors because he's the guy that knows how to win races, been in these situations before, so he's got experience from that. But while to drop him behind, he's got Ferg and Dual in his rear mirrors and having DRS at the back of him, so he's also dragging along a train, including Dual, Head Bompier, and Tegriff and Indy Jesus. But look at that, here comes C4 Gamer, back on Foul Fury. Foul Fury breaks later the C4 Gamer, but here comes Giroud Visser going down the inside of C4 Gamer. P15 to P10, yeah, like I said, he gained
doing really
4 positions.
Well. He got a good start. I mean, I started from P16, and until I was tagged in the back, it was complete carnage. We had Rudy on the softs. DC hasn't been able to make as much ground in the train, but Rudy was sending it everywhere on me, and I was kind of like looking left, looking right, because of course those have such a grip advantage. So yeah, it's been carnage with the guys on the softs trying to get up.
Oh,
we see Aston Martin go. Siebers, I thought he'd gone. Oh, and Rudy's giving him no space.
It's quite hard because you're already understeered off that track as well, so that's the difficult corner to take.
Steve avoided an incident, yeah, I think that was a little bit harsh. And Rudy has actually, he's just about stayed within the second, but I think already these softs are going to be overheating, and this is kind of where the medium is coming to play.
But Foul Fury sticking around the outside, he's got the inside line.
Sticking around the inside, oh, he's done well, they're leaving each other just enough room, really great racing here. Giroud just stick through side by side with Farrell, and he's got the DRS. Does Farrell as well? They're going to go side by side again in turn 4. Giroud just about has inside line. I reckon Farrell is absolutely sent it. It's a little bit wide, and Giroud just get the position. I think that was ambition well over adhesion there from Farrell Fury, but he'll be happy to tuck in P10 with his wing attached to his car. Giroud, on the other hand, is absolutely flying up to the top group that he's been so familiar with throughout this season. Yeah, he's pretty much in the train Valter as well. It's the only gap before Milan that's up to that's above a second. So I reckon, and it's closed a bit recently. So I reckon we could be seeing them joining the DRS train in a couple of laps.
Really started down at P7.
That creates a massive train, yeah.
Really started down at P70. He's following Giroud Visser. He's right at the back of Foul Fury. Also sees the right back of Rudy as well after making that mistake previous lap time. But Giroud Visser is right behind Mark. Will he go for it to turn 1 or will he set him up into turn 4? Try and get a better exit there into turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3 and try and slipstream it all the way down to turn 4 like we saw Lewis Hamilton did on Max Verstappen.
He's done well there actually. And he's got the RS on. Of course, Mark does have a little bit more. He's been saving a bit better, but Pease is still going to get the move. He's not derating just yet. Pease, is he going to go around the outside? I think Mark's actually backed out, so Mark doesn't want to risk it, although he's looking on the inside. Is he going to back out? Yeah, well, he didn't have the pace. But Pease is now really low on the RS. And this is where Mark comes back into... I think I would rather be in P2 in this position, to be honest.
I would too, because it's easy to save ERS, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Mark, is he going to play the smart race here? He's already got a big ERS advantage, and Pete is only... Well, with the DRS, he doesn't need to use as much. These guys are pretty similar on natural pace here, if not even.
Momentarius allowed Walter to be back in DRS range, so that's benefited from those two fighting for P1.
Speaking of which, Ferg is actually gone from about his DRS range. So I think Walter has pushed to get out of Ferg's DRS, and now he's in that train. So could we see a top 3 breakaway? Can Ferg get back
no,
into
I don't think
it?
so.
I'm not sure.
Ooh.
And
Mark backed out of it.
is going to go into P4, I think.
These two fighting for the championship 2 seasons ago, and Ferg is ahead of Duel, like we've seen previously
3 championships between them.
Yeah, here comes Duel back on
CRL
Ferg though with
heritage,
the DRS.
and we see Duel, he's going to make an easy pass on the inside.
Mark.
His head bomb, you're going to get Ferg as well. Is he going to make a double move? No, he isn't. He's just about too far from Duel. Ferg has gone off track trying to keep the position, but Head Bombier has done well to get himself back up into P5. And of course, what we are seeing a top 3 breakaway now, because that battling has lost them a second. Walter, meanwhile, using all of his ERS, is flying.
If you didn't notice,
within them now, I didn't
Total
notice.
P's took back Mark for P1 after we saw Duel, Head Bombier and Ferg fighting, so there's so many battles going on. This is the nature of this track. You can fight as
I
well.
think he was already in P1.
No,
I
he
think
wasn't.
Mark was in P2. Oh,
yeah, it was.
no,
think
he was. I think Mark he'd overtaken him the lap before. But yeah, these 3 are flying now, and it's going to be a struggle for Duo with all these boys behind him. I hate being in these positions when you've got so many quick guys vying for that P4, which is a really good position for Duo to be in.
Here comes Mark back in the race lead for P1 ahead of Total P's now. So they just change positions every single lap, but Total P's can he get better exit?
DRS. He has got a better exit. I think P's is going to take back the lead here. And he's actually saved his ERS, so he's got a little bit more ERS, and he is definitely going to make the move. Unless Mark is deploying, no, he's not. He's going to let P's go through. Walter's really going to have a look in now, because if these two get a bit close, Walter can just take advantage and get a really good exit. And of course, it swings back into his hands. Although he has a lot of ERS to save compared to the front two, because of course he used so much trying to get away from Freg, who was down in P6 by the way as well. It's not been a good few laps for him, although knowing him I'm sure he has something to answer.
Already 9 laps gone in this race. Already 9 laps. It appeared to feel like 2 or 3 laps has gone by, but yeah, keep it out. Drew Rivers, he's right behind DGs, but the problem is being in a DRS trade, it's super hard to overtake as you're all following each other.
T-Griff's gone wide.
And
he has had an absolute stinker of an exit. No, sorry, T-Griff, not unless he did as well. But he's going to have Indian Jesus and Jeroen breathing down the neck. Oh, Jeroen's going to go for it down the outside, around the outside here. He's got the overspeed on Griff. He's going to have to back out. Oh, he switched to the inside. This could be a brilliant move from Jeroen, but he doesn't. There's not enough space.
Contact's been made with the Ferrari.
Indian Jesus has gone straight down there.
Oh, look at Farah Fury. Farah Fury spun.
Oh, Farah Fury's gone.
Total Peace is taking the lead off Mark. Three drivers went at it. There's too many
action here on lap 10 of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Farah Fury round, he'll be disappointed with that.
Come on guys, I can't keep up here.
Steve's gone very wide as well, and both Nathan, the Booth brothers, have got past Seaborough Gamer, who has had a torrid few laps. Oh, he's got wing damage.
Yeah, I wish you could have multiple screens to see what's going on here, because I can't keep up. There's too many battles going on
He's
after
got
track.
no front weight MP, and he is understeering horribly. Sieb, as you can just see, like Knight's gaining so much on him. So he's going to have to let all these boys through now, and he's going to have to limp back to the pits. That will not be what the Dutchman wanted.
Last season, Seaborough Gamer won the last race of the season, but obviously this time he's dropped all the way down. And look at Mark, he's right behind Total Peace as they continue their squad.
Well, though, to save his ERS. Walter is gaining a little bit now. He's on 20%. He was more derating a few laps ago. Mark is going to make the move on Pease. I think, as before, Pease is going to hook it all the way onto the inside apex.
Bombkit's in P4 by the way. He's got himself ahead of Duval.
He's got ahead of Duval. Bombkit has an absolute ton of ERS by the way. He's just about under 60%. On 50% now. He has saved so well. Could we even see a Bombkit push up to that little front group who are battling all the time right now? Well, I think they are working together more than anything. These three, of course, know each other
had experience
well.
as well, because he was in another league in Brazil. He almost got a podium, but I believe he got wiped out or something like that. So, can he find himself on the podium here in CRL? We know he's a driver that's capable of picking up podiums. He's already gaining on Walter, Totepees and Mark. Yeah, but the thing is though,
about 4 tenths.
He's pushing.
I think he's pushing for fastest lap right now.
It's going to be difficult because he's bringing a lot of drivers along the way with him, so it's going to be quite hard for him to drop out or get out of that DRS range. He used a lot of ERS as well. He just needs to catch up with these guys and try and save the ERS and try and see what he can do from there. But Total P's then on lap 11, he's right behind Mark. In fact, Walter's closer towards Total P's than Total P's is towards Mark. So the problem is for Walter, he just can't get past because also Total P's has DRS as well. But is the grid close enough to make a move? No.
Ooh, he's not. I think what we're seeing here is just that really awkward phase just before the pit stop. So I know the mediums can go about 21, 22 laps here, and the conventional strategy is the soft medium. As Pease is getting very close to the back of Mark, but he opts not to make a move. He's going to stick in Mark's dirty air for another lap.
P7. He almost lost it on the curb there. Cut out of turn 3.
He's really low on the RS though, but he's going to be able to get into Fred's DRS and save from now. But yeah, good comeback from Jeroen so far. Can he make it stick though?
Yeah, it's a very good driver D from Jeroen. I wish he did crash Q1 because he could have been joining that fight as well. The top 4,
as we always see him. Yeah. But as I was saying, this is that awkward phase when they're all saving, all their batteries have skyrocketed. They've got away, well, the top 3 at least have got away from that chasing pack, and now it's just time to see who makes the undercut, who's going to go far, who's going to go long, and try and use the extra grip of the mediums they'll be on. Jeroen's got a flyer of an exit. He's alongside Ferg here. Is he going to go for a move down the inside? He's not going to brake later. Ferg is going to try and hold around the outside. That looks like good defence from the Aston Martin driver as well. But he's left just enough space for Jeroen to try and fly through on the inside. And Jeroen's got the DRS. That is a brilliant move. He's stuck down the inside all the way there. But Ferg has got DRS as well. He's just about got it, but he's going to back out. He's going to let Jeroen go. As Jeroen, I think, gets a warning there, goes a little bit wide. These guys are actually falling away from the bump here and do well in that little bubble, so I worry for them that they might get out that DRS as C sets the fastest lap in anger. Feel very bad for him after what happened. He's I wouldn't say he underperformed in quali. I feel like it just wasn't the right. He didn't time the lap right, and he didn't get it right either. But yeah, so not too good for Steve today. Although with a safety car anything can happen, as we've seen so many times.
Total P is all over the back of Mark then. This could be another overtake. Obviously the lap before we've seen Rudy and we've seen Indy G's go to the pit lane. It's crucial, interestingly, like the head bump is in the pit lane, but interestingly Indy G's is on the hard compound tyre. You would expect the mediums to go a long way in this race, so the hard is not really...
go a long way. I don't think this is it's not the right choice for Indy G's for certain. He's not going to be... I mean, the hards are very good. They're more consistent than the mediums for sure, because their pace doesn't really dissipate as it does with the softer
yellow flag.
tyres.
That's Alex after race, and this is not good for head bump here. If a safety car comes out, head bump here, man. He was in a really good position.
For him.
Just a really unfortunate situation. I've been in this situation myself plenty of times.
Everyone in front of him is going to, and Rudy and India Jesus as well, they're going to have to do, especially Rudy's going to have to do all that hard work again.
That's an absolute killer of the race, when you do nothing wrong and all of a sudden another driver just drops it and calls the safety car. It's just so frustrating. I've been in that situation myself loads of times. Right place at the right time, but obviously you don't know when the safety car's coming out, obviously like that. But he's making his normal strategy from soft to medium. He's just going to be so frustrated.
Oh dear. He's going to try and back up the pack. I feel for him. This doesn't play into Jeroen's hands either. This is really bad for Jeroen.
Those softs can't go 22 laps.
The softs can't go 22 laps. 9 Jeroen, I think he might try it. From what I know, he's very good with the tyres. He's going to come into the pits. I don't think he'll put the hard tyres on. Oh, he might have sped actually.
Oh, he almost at the back of Duval.
I think he just about missed it.
That's a Mercedes going through to lead the race.
Yeah, that's AJ. I think, do any of these guys have to double stack? I don't believe so.
The Hasses?
No, everyone's on a different team.
No,
no, the Hasses off. No, they don't. So yeah, as we predicted, Jeroen and Nafut are going to go for a miracle here, and they're going to try and make those soft tyres last 21 laps. I mean, if they pull this off, it will be incredible. But I've seen stranger things happen in league racing. Headbump actually, he's really not lost that many positions. He's in P6, and he was in. He's in net P5 and he's in net P4. It's actually gone a lot better for him than I thought it would.
Yeah, me too. Maybe he didn't lose enough time, but the thing is though, he was ahead of Duval before the pit stops, and He's not lost him too much. If AJ pitted, would have been in P5, so theoretically he's only lost 1 place because AJ stayed out there. But obviously he's got Jeruvasa right behind him on a brand new set of softs, so expect him to put a lot of pressure on Head Bompia there. Will Head Bompia try and fight him off as long as he can, but obviously Jeruvasa has a lot of tyre saving to do, along with Nathan. 21, obviously the safety car phase will help you tyre wear, but how long can those soft tyres last for? Who knows? Like you said, but we see stranger things. Rudy, on the other hand, we've seen him do a lot of runs on the softs in Britain back in Silverstone. I didn't think those softs would go to the end, but they actually did.
That was amazing, yeah, I remember that race. It was for obvious reasons.
Another Bahrain race as well, where somebody made their soft tyres go 18 laps, but obviously had a puncher.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is with Rudy, he's nearly gone straight into the back of his teammate, commentator's curse, as Nathan fakes into the pits.
Nathan's in the pits, you say?
The thing is with Rudy is that he faked into it. He pretended to go, I think. I think the thing with Rudy is that he's outright one of the fastest drivers in the league. Very, very talented. He's only been doing it. He's in IFR as well. We're a very quick team, but he always seems to go for the alt strat. He never seems to go for qualifying position. I think he might have got 1 pole in France when I was away.
Yeah, but he did actually. He lost his full rig of the race.
And I've been raced with him a number of times now. I've seen his. It brings everyone back into the race, which is quite nice to see.
Me and Ben are on comms, Ryan, if you're wondering. Me and Ben's on comms. Hello, Issa, Kush, nice to see you.
Alright, Kush. Actually, to be fair, I barely spoken to the guy. But I don't know. Seen him in chat around. Yeah. Let me refresh. See what people are saying in the chat. Oh, all right, Scott. Yeah, you can see my name right at the bottom. You can probably guess what happened. Well, I didn't actually crash out this time. I just decided to go with my boy Jamie, as I believe the safety car will be coming in this lap, and we're going to see AJ Wuhan. Can he get a little a quick restart on Total Pisa? I wouldn't be.
He can. We've seen this a few times.
Quite surprised.
We've seen this a few times.
Much worse traction. Yeah, we have.
We've seen this a few times at other races where AJ's actually helped Walter a lot in these past few races, where he's actually backed the field up and. Actually, in Singapore, where it's very hard to overtake, he actually let Walter go. I think Total Peace couldn't get past AJ whatsoever because of the nature of the track, just the difficulty of overtaking around Singapore. Walter was able to pull away, and therefore Total Peace had to pull a massive gap. But AJ's going right now. And look at Mark, he's alongside Total Peace already. Will he go down the inside? Look at Head Bompia on the inside of Duel. Mark goes down the inside of Total Peace.
Mark goes down the inside. They're going to make contact, are they? Mark goes wide. Peace sweeps through
Head
into
Bompia's got
P2.
He's defended it
well. And now Mark's exit has been massively compromised from the racing with Peace, and there's 2 cars gone. That's Farrell Fury again involved in an incident, and Jay Lawler has spun around to the back there. I'm not sure what happened. We're going to go back to the front. See Mark so close to the back of Pease. AJ has got a good lead there, which he'll like to see. If he can get away with these league boys, he is absolutely dreaming.
Oh, down the inside goes Giroud. He tried it on Head Bompia, almost like a Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon situation. The latest fight to do one, but down the inside. Oh, I thought it would go down the inside. It was close enough. It's not close enough.
Oh, he swept it as well. This is the key phase for Giroud. He's going to have so much more grip on these mediums for these few laps. He's going to go around the outside of Jinsao on these softs, sorry, compared to everyone else.
Oh no, it is touch!
Oh, he's been made contact, and I'm not sure if that was the best place to go for a move. And Fry's got through. Jeroen will not be happy, and now Head Bompier's got out of the DRS once again. His opportunity has been lost. I think Duwell's gone down a lot of places.
Look at the race lead. Total Peace going to go down the inside of AJ. Now Mark has to get through immediately before he loses a contact with Total Peace.
And Jeroen has made a double overtake down the inside here on the soft tyres. That is brilliant to see, and Nathan as well on the softs. He's going to get some pace. He's got a better exit than both Ferg and Head Bompia. He's already got Buzz Bompia. Is he going to send it around the outside on the Aston Martin driver? No, he doesn't. He's a little bit more tentative than Jeroen does, but he gets around the outside of Bompia and gets himself up into P7. These soft runners showing their intent definitely.
Oh, someone's crashed in the background. That's Rudy.
Oh, is that Mark? Oh, no, it's AJ, and AJ's crashed as well.
AJ, where is he?
AJ has spun. He spun. Peace is 1 second ahead. I think Mark and AJ might have had contact. I'm not sure. Mark's nearly gone as well. That is a disaster. Peace could. He's been handed a gift here right now. Rudy has gone as well. Well, I was talking about his comebacks. I'm not sure what happened. Did you catch it, Jamie?
I was up with somebody's rear wing on the battle with Nathan. I just saw a hash just go off the back. I didn't see what happened with AJ or somebody else. But yeah, Giroud versus a P4. He needs to overtake these guys before his soft tyres go off. Same with Nathan.
They're going to start overheating as well.
Look at Nathan, he's all over the back of Ferg.
Peace a 9-1, that's a really fast opening lap from him. And Nathan, yeah, he's going to go down the inside here, I think. He does brake a lot later, and he engine brakes, misses the apex a little bit, but he's done well going into turn 1, although there's no DRS yet, I don't believe.
Next lap. No, DRS now.
There is. Yeah, we are on the 3rd lap after safety car.
That's gone quick, hasn't it, Ben? I didn't even realise it was 3 laps. That's gone quick, hasn't it? The 3 laps after the safety car.
Yeah, it has gone so quick. So many incidents already, but P's out in front. As I said, he's been handed a gift. This is his to lose now because he is out at that crucial DRS point. Rudy retires in the pits. I believe Jay Lawler has retired as well.
Look at this, AJ versus Fury for P.
Oh, lovely.
It's 15. Fury's got ahead of AJ. Yeah, Fury's got ahead of AJ for P15.
Yeah.
Went around the outside of AJ into the seat of the Largo, with Fury got himself up. AJ's on 80 laps old, so you expect him to drop. I thought he would have went to the pits, but he didn't.
Giroud is packing the ERS, although him and Valtteri are almost identical. It's a yellow flag, that's just Jay Lawler.
Here comes Giroud on Walter. He's so close behind Walter.
Oh, he is. He's deploying all the RS. He's going to go for a move down the inside. That's an 8.9 of a fast lap of an 8.9. He doesn't brake too early, but he's got the more grip on the outside. He's touched Walter a bit. They do make a little bit of contact coming into into turn 2, into the CRL, and this is Giroud's. This is a really big moment for him right now. He needs to move up all these positions. He needs to dispatch Mark really quickly and get up to his rival Pease, who right now will claim P2 in the championship with his victory. But of course Giroud has to make these soft last another 16 laps, and this is about where they die. Well, they start their pace edge starts to wear off, so now it's going to be an uphill
in about
battle.
A few laps time will come to an end. But if the safety car comes out, it'll benefit him with the tyre saving. But 60 laps to go is quite hard with a soft tyre. Yeah, the fuel goes down, the track starts to evolve, and
a spin. That's Knight. Oh, it's unfortunate for Knight. He was running well, and he has spun. It's not been a good season for the man, unfortunately. It's unfortunate to see the Knight is at the back of the grid in the Alfa Romeo. I'm not sure what happened. I think there might have been contact with another driver. There was a lot of them up there coming into the 3rd sector.
There goes Giroud on Mark.
Get spun round, and there we go. Giroud does make the move on Mark. Of course,
Mark gets out of shape without turn 1.
He's definitely
cuts the corner in turn 2, and Walter's all at the back.
He's going to use all that ERS. He has got the DRS from Giroud for now, although he's going to be way too far back to make a move. Yeah, as predicted. This is Giroud's time now. Can he get it to P's DRS? Because if he does, if he manages to stay in that DRS, he's not going to have to push as much. He's going to be able to save the RS, so that is really crucial. It's a really crucial phase of the race for Giroud right now. Of course, these guys are battling more for just track position there, battling for pride as well, and and that all important P2 in the championship. And Mark is almost out of DRS of Giroud, which is going to leave him as really easy fodder to Valter if Giroud can get that second gap before the DRS zone, and I believe he just about has failed to do so. So Mark is going to have DRS, and that might have saved him from the wrath of Valter for one more lap at least. Nathan, he's on the soft tyre. He's stuck behind these 4 right now though, and I think his pace is going to wear off. It's going to be frustrating for Nathan. But if he can stay in that DRS, he's still promised a good result right now, as DC comes into the pits to change onto the medium tyres. I'm not sure what happened to him. You still there, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm still here, sorry, I was just watching the action there. I'm just thinking if Giroud versus tyres will start to go off towards the end because he's got a long way to go, especially on these soft compound tyres. He has to overtake Total Peace now before those tyres start to go off. Same with Nathan. Nathan's calling all over the back of Walter, but obviously Walter's in the DRS trade of Mark and Mark's in the DRS trade of Giroud, so it's going to be quite difficult.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite difficult to overtake him. He's
and
too far back.
Mark set his personal best lap time. These mediums are going to start coming into play, and he did actually gain on Giroud that lap as well. So I think the soft tyre, that edge that we were talking about, has started to wear off. But yeah, sorry for interrupting.
1.2 seconds, that's been the gap for a few laps time now. So are those tyres, they're still a good shape, those softs, but those mediums might be a little better because they're a better race tyre in my opinion, those softs, I mean those mediums, sorry. So
sorry, but I was going to talk about I was going to talk about the RS actually, because I was going to say Giroud hasn't managed it too well. I could see his red light flashing all the way down the back straight, but P's equally...
Sounds like you're rapping.
Say again?
Sounds like you were rapping there.
Oh no, mate, I've just got that natural flow, what can I say? But Giroud and Pease, so Pease was actually using a lot of DRS while we were watching the action behind him to try and stay out that DRS, and I think he's done well. And Pease showed his race class once again, because now Giroud's tyres are off, he's slowly going to fade into the distance if Mark and Valter can't get past quickly. As we see him losing a lot on the straight. Mark is gaining all the time. I think he's going to make the move this or next lap.
I think those tyres, they're not coming to an end, but the mediums now are better than the soft compound tyres. You expect to see Giroud fall back slowly through the field. There won't be too much those soft tyres, but obviously those medium tyres being a bit better now in comparison to those soft. Same with Nathan, but obviously Nathan's in DRS range of Walter, and he's got Ferg right behind him with following head Bompy as well, and Duval is crucially outside the 1 second range, so he's got to defend from Tegriff right behind him. Tegriff and Duval are fighting the championship for P8 in the championship, and look at that, they're so close together, those two. So Tegriff has to get ahead of Duval if he wants to claim, or in P7 if he wants to claim. I can't figure out the mathematics, but they're going to finish ahead of each other, just like Giroud and Total Peace. Giroud has lost about 2/10 on this lap because the gap was 1.2 last lap. Now it's gone to 1.4, so now 1.5, just hovering around 1.4, 1.5. But Total Peace now is starting to pull away from Giroud, and this will play to the hands of Mark, because Mark can easily overtake him with the ERS advantage and the tyre advantage.
He manages ERS brilliantly, has Rail Mark here. And is he going to go for it? I think he's going to go for it on the second straight, although he is closing so much to Giroud even without deploying. And yeah, he is going to make the move without any ERS. He's going to go down the inside. Giroud backs out, but Mark has such an ERS advantage that I think he's going to be able to defend down the back straight. Although it has to be said, Giroud has got a much better exit here.
No, I don't think he'll do it. It's too risky using that ERS, because if he uses that ERS, to be vulnerable on the next straight, so he has to stay behind. Has to accept
his fate. Of course, this is a massive management. I thought I'd seen Total Peace spinning there, getting flashbacks to Portimao, but no, Giroud, this is the management phase for him now. He wants to try and stick in that DRS, but it might not be possible with the way these softs are going to start to overheat. I'm looking at his his panel, and it looks like his lefts are on well over 100 degrees. Although I think they're his tyres are fluctuating around 100 degrees. So yeah, some overheating here for Jeroen, which he's going to have to manage, because I mean these tyres would normally puncture unless he can pull off something special.
These softs, because they're closest to the surface, these soft compound tyres, they start to overheat more in comparison to the medium, because the softs don't take long to heat up at all, whereas the medium takes a little bit longer, being a hard tyre.
Is Nathan going to make a move on Valter? No, he's not.
If there was no DRS ahead of him, he would do, but obviously it's in a massive DRS trade. So, Tegriff has got past Duval, up into B8 goes, and Milan ahead of C4 Gamer.
He doesn't have to defend, he takes his natural line, clearly got past him on the straight. And yeah, he's gapped him a little bit. Sieb gets a penalty. Not as many penalties I would have expected at this stage. Drivers have done well with warnings, although I have seen a couple of the boys up front go wide, so wouldn't be too surprised if we start to see those creeping in.
Can Mark close on Total Peace now? Finally, he's got past Giroud, but Giroud is sticking with Mark. What Giroud can do is try to recollect that ERS and try go for it again in these later stages. Maybe he knows his tyres are starting to come to an end. Will he try and clear on for the podium, I wonder?
I'm going to just say, Nathan and Giroud have moved up 12 and 13 positions respectively. That is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, unless they get a puncture, they're both really equal shots for driver of the day right now.
And that is an Alfa Romeo of ISO09 on the hard compound tyres.
He's going to be very frustrated.
Disqualified. My guy's been disqualified for some reason.
My man has been, and well, torrid season for Knight, unfortunately. No, he's definitely got some potential in that Alfa Romeo, but wanted to be for him, and yeah, this qualification is just kind of salt on the wound, I reckon. It's especially with the game as well. I mean, you can almost guarantee that he didn't deserve it. I'm just going to say now, I think Mark is genuinely in the shout right now. Because Pease is derating massively. I think Mark, if he pushes right and if he deploys the DRS right, he's going to get into that DRS, and that is game. I thought Pease had run away with this, to be honest. I thought he was going to run away with this, but you know, we could see all of the top 7 come back into the mix here, and this is what we really want to see for our last race of the season.
Exactly. If one of them gets a penalty, they'll probably be over for them because they'll drop down with the grid being so tight. Because we've got a DRS trade from 1st to 7th. Head Bompio being the last in the trade, and Head Bompio will find it more difficult because he's at the back of the trade and therefore he can't make his way through. For instance, like Giroud, while to be closest to trade and potentially could overtake. It's like Nathan as well, being on those soft compound tyres, but those soft tyres now not coming to an end, but they're coming to the end of their peak. So he can't really make an impact on those soft compound tyres anymore. He's too far behind Walters to make a move into turn 1. Respectively, Walters too far behind Giroud as well. It's just the same thing reoccurring. But Giroud is behind Mark, but it's too far away to overtake him.
I'm going to say now, Giroud's actually saved his ERS very well. He's now I think it was probably the right move to let Mark go, because now he's got about 45% when he was derating a few laps ago. I mean, could we even see Giroud, if he keeps his tyres to T, gets a time penalty, and that's going to jeopardise his success in his battle with Giroud, Do-Will, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's crucial for him. Do-Will, we know he's consistent, we know he don't really pick away with many penalties, but yeah, that could cost costly for him in his fight.
Austria.
I don't remember Austria really much.
No, Austria.
Oh yeah, I remember it now when you crashed into ice all night.
Yeah, that one. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about Do-Will's 21 seconds of penalties, but you could talk about that as well. Prick.
Add to the pain.
There's no pain anymore, mate. I'm kind of happy I'm doing comms. Gives
Seaboard games got past Indian Jesus,
rather than be at the bottom of the standards every race. Indian Jesus, yeah.
I feel
Is he
like
going to make the move? He's got DRS as well.
I feel like you've got the pace because you've showed it multiple times. Back in Bahrain as well, back in Britain, back in a few races, especially here in Brazil.
Won, yeah. Yeah, I know. I do. I don't know. It's just been like lack of practice, and these 4 boys are phenomenal. I'd say Pease. I'd say Mark as well has really come through. Ferg, shout out to him. But I mean, the top guys in this league are sensationally consistent, and I think that's. I mean, I'm not going to talk about myself, but I'm just going to say it's very hard to race against guys who you know are going to deliver, because I'm a little bit less experienced in these boys, so I don't exactly back myself all the time. But I mean, the way some of these guys race, I think Pease and Giroud and Walter are just both. They're all phenomenally experienced, and they're fast. I mean, maybe not like miles faster than myself in 1 lap pace. But they're just consistent. I think that's really what separates the great drivers from the good and the average. And yeah, we've seen that there as well in these 3 really running away with the championship this season. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting about them because I think we should get back to the race. But yeah, just want to give credit to the top guys because they're all excellent drivers in their own right.
6 laps to go, so that means we've done 20 laps on these tyres, those Giroud and Nathan. Can they manage to hold on to those soft tyres, or will they start to fade away, drop away? It looks like Giroud's managing it because he's still in the DRS range, and Mark's struggling to close in. He'll be frustrated with that because he wants to win this race. He cuts the corner there, so it might be a warning there for Mark, but he really wants to win this race. He's been bragging about ever since last Thursday about Brazil. He loves Brazil. He thinks he's going to do well. He's doing well at the moment, but obviously for himself, he wants to be one step up there and be in P1. But Total P's, like always, just delivers on a daily, weekly basis. And yeah, he's in P1, just managing the pace out there, 1.5 seconds, and yeah, not being under pressure whatsoever.
I'll give you a little update.
Can't wait for next season.
I can't at all, for obvious reasons as well. But yeah, if I get a full-time seat, that is. Anyway, yeah, well, Pease is on 1 warning. I'm just looking at the warnings now because, of course, I'm not being streamed. I'm not streaming my my perspective. Mark is on 1 warning. Jeroen is on 2, although I'm not sure if they're all both on 1 lap, and Valter on 1 as well as Nathan, who is they've all got 1 warning, apart from Jeroen, who has 2. Although I'm not sure if that was No, they were both track limit warnings. So Giroud's really on tenterhooks here, because if he gets that 3-second penalty, it's going to drop him down several positions. And was there a crash there?
I think it's nice, but they're going side by side, and Tegriff stays ahead of Duval. Good defensive skills there from Alex. I mean, Tegriff there stays ahead, MPA for the time being, ahead of Duval. But they got Seville Gamer and Milan right behind them, so Tegriff's got a lot of work to do to try and keep these guys behind. But that 3-second time penalty, well, bear in mind Milan and Seve's got a 3-second time penalty too. So
I have, at the end of the last game, I raced Milan in a 100% race at Bahrain, and that man he's clean. He's very, very aggressive. He's an aggressive racer. So I mean, and he's of course incredibly fast. So I mean, seeing him in my rearview mirror is a terrifying prospect, and I'm sure it is for Duval as well. Who Milan isn't deploying yet, so he's not going to go for the move this lap. But yeah, Milan is definitely going to look to get through as well. He's got a penalty, so he will want to try and get ahead and make some distance to give himself any chance of finishing in the top 10. Well, Pease has extended a gap actually majorly by to 1.5. Mark cannot get in that range right now, and Giroud is holding on brilliantly. Of course, Valter behind. I mean, these top 5 are equally in shout to the podium. I think Pease has the race won if he manages to avoid making mistakes, and I to be honest, knowing him, I don't think he is going to make a mistake. But yeah, these 4, it is so tight. And if these guys get penalties, if head bombs, you could even get into the mix. I mean, who knows? I think Freg has put himself a little bit out of contention with that.
I think Mark slightly started to pull away from Giroud as you can see those tyres. The tyres are starting to grade. So
this is the point where they start to die, like big time. Well, I believe most boys stopped on about lap 14 or 15 before the safety car came out, and yeah, so those soft tyres are going to be on a knife edge for Giroud. Although he still has the DRS to sit in for a few more laps.
Those guys behind are so frustrated because they're stuck. They can't do absolutely anything unless one guy makes a mistake fighting the other person. He just can't do anything. Just in no man's land, really. Just on a train, just following everybody. But the thing is, though, it's guaranteed that head Bobby will finish ahead of Freg because of the time penalty hovering over his name.
Yeah, it's going to be an unpleasant race for Freg because he definitely knows what could have been. But yeah, that's the nature of
could we see a bit of rain coming towards the end of this race? Because look at the clouds gathering. The sun's gone.
I think they're not going to. It's not going to be into conditions by the time. I think it will just be a little bit of light drizzle that might affect grip a little bit. But yeah, it's lap 33 now. Of course, this race has flown by. Yeah, Giroud, what I've seen, he's losing big time to Mark in the middle sector,
and
because obviously because of his tyres. But he's gaining it back because he's got more ERS than Valter as well. Valter is basically flat out on 0%. So Giroud is being clever with it. Yeah,
First going down the inside, makes contact slightly with Nathan. Nathan just stays ahead for the time being, but Ferg gets another chance starting the straight. DRS will be enabled.
Now is Ferg. I think they're going to be level coming into turn 4. Who breaks the latest? It's Ferg. He's going to go around the inside. Oh, he's round the outside. It's a little bit of a Max Verstappen moment. And he almost made contact with Nathan's rear right as well. So close. And these boys have just dropped out the DRS train. And that is all it takes. A little bit of battling. And he could have jeopardised your own race. Although Nathan stays in P5 for the time being. Can he catch up to that group of 3 and try and get back in the DRS before Ferg swallows him up?
Yeah, he'll be vulnerable now with those tyres being the state and loss of DRS. So Ferg and head Bob Pierre will be all over the back of Nathan JB. There's nothing he can defend with other than try and defend as much as he can. But Walter's all over the back of Giroud as well. Might see a battle go on P3 on the penultimate lap between those two. Yeah, Total Pease has got this in the bag. Mark will be a little bit frustrated, but Total Pease has driven this race beautifully. Look at the overspeed that Giroud has on Walter with the ERS advantage as well. Can't do anything about it, but look at Ferg. He's too far back to make a move into turn 1, but he has to set him up into turn 4 and try and get him, because Nathan this time round does not have DRS. As
Love flag, that's AJ. Unfortunate for him.
Too far back behind.
Yeah.
But here comes Ferg. Ferg around the outside of Nathan, and Nathan has got ahead of Ferg has got ahead of Nathan for P5, and now it's Het Bompier's turn. Will Het Bompier try it?
No way.
No, I don't think he will.
He's got MOS and the 2 boys in front of him marginally as well.
Oh, Walter's gone down the inside of Giroud Visser. They're going side by side now.
And he's made
Walter's got a slight edge around the outside with better grip and better traction
and
around
he
that
has got
corner.
better grip in that middle sector, and Walter, opportunistic move, has got it on Jeroen. I think he might have made a mistake, but of course this means that Mark may get out the DRS. He is out the DRS for now. If Walter really pushes, he needs to get this last corner absolutely alright, and he just get a bit of a lock up. And I think Mark might have just broken out the DRS. I'm not sure. I think Walter's just about got it. He does, just. Yeah. Just. And this is real push time for Walter now. If he wants to get that, they're both on similar levels of ERS. If he wants to get that P2, he's going to have to fight for it.
Hey, Bobby's got past Nathan up into P6.
For sure.
Last lap of this race then for the final race of CRLs. Yeah, they both run out of ERS. There's no chance catching each other on the straight.
No, definitely not here, but could we see a mistake in the middle sector from one of the front four? Freg's broken back into that DRS, head bump here, or is going to finish ahead of Freg though, as is Nathan. But Walter, he's closing in on Mark. I tell you, he has got a little bit more grip right now. He's got a little bit more pace, maybe a bit better tyre management. He's getting a few tenths. But is it going to be enough down the back straight? Of course, Mark is not going to have that crucial DRS advantage. I don't think it is, unless Walter gets an absolute flyer of an exit or Mark makes a mistake. Total P's is coming down the back straight, and this has been one of the most impressive few races I've seen from someone. Total P's is going to come across the line in Brazil here to win again. Behind Mark, he has got it in P2. Good race from him. The top two finish as they started. Walter in P3. Jeroen, brilliant drive from him in P4, as is Nathan in P6. Split by Het Bompier, who rounds out the top five. What a race, Jamie. Great
Indeed.
to see. Brazil delivers once again.
Well, P2 belongs towards Total P's then. Finally gets it in the end after he picked up a penalty, post-race penalty after the Russian Grand Prix, fell down to third. Drew Vizor got ahead of him in the championship and he brought it back with a race victory. Nothing else more he could do than that, so congratulations to Total P's. Congratulations to Mark for securing P4 in the championship.
And AJ just about avoids finishing last with the
Well, the last race of the season is done in CRL, but there's still the last late race to go in Abu Dhabi between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Can't wait for that. 3 days time to decide whether Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton will be champion in 2021. Any of those two win it, they both deserve it because they've done a fantastic job throughout the whole season. Can't wait though to see what happens in Abu Dhabi. Who knows?
Yeah, incredible season. I mean, almost as incredible as Cone Racing League Season 5 was, although with a slightly closer championship fight, it has to be said. Although Walter hasn't exactly run away with it with the success of the of Jeroen and Mark right at the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, I feel like he kind of eased his foot off the gas as such. Walter just racing for pride. He'd already won the championship, but yeah, credit to Pease though. He's been fantastic. He's been formidable throughout this second part of the season.
I believe Het Bompier gets ahead of AJ in the championship for P6 if I do my maths correctly. Duval gets ahead of Griff. Nathan might get ahead of Duke. No, I don't think he will actually. No, he'll stay behind Duval and Griff. Rudy will stay in P11, I think. I think Ferg might get DC. No, he's too far behind. Quick mass here, you get 40 points for first. 5th place, you get 20 points. And Het Bompier finishing 5th. Yeah, he'll definitely get ahead of AJ. Yep, he finishes ahead of AJ, so congrats to Bob here for finishing ahead of AJ. Congrats to Mark for finishing P4. And congrats to Total Peace for finishing in P2. We well deserved.
I'm going to try and get these guys in the party.
They would have joined by now, but just giving a bit of time.
Told them to shut it and join the party. I'll let you take the lead with the interviews. I only got a few questions in mind. I only got a couple of questions in mind, so. Yeah, and also shout out to Jurin and Nathan. They didn't finish on the podium, but they both started from well outside the top 10, made the softs work, avoided a puncture from such an early safety car for the one-stop medium to soft. But yeah, shout out to them as well, although we won't be hearing from them as the podium boys are starting to join now. Although Mark, as always, is the last to join. Where is he?
Yeah, there they are. So, starting on Walter then. Walter, P3 in the race, mate, but you were stuck in the DRS straight, nothing really could do from there. But that was a fantastic battle you had with Drew Vizza. Talk us through the race, mate.
Yeah, a bit boring.
Right to the last lap, yeah.
Really. Yeah, no, just train all the way through and just stick behind waiting for a mistake, but nothing really happened till I had to push Jeroen into Mark, kinda. But yeah, just stuck behind, and it was nothing I could really do.
Nothing really can really do, but other than the race, talk us through the season as a whole, because you've done a fantastic job throughout the whole season. You've been on the podium majority of the times, more than any other driver in this league this season, so incredible season for you, and congrats on everything you've done in this championship.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's been good. It's been nice. Good battles. All.
Say again.
Just keep it good battles. Keep it consistent and just getting the podiums and getting the wins and shit. Oh.
You weren't winning as much in the end. But I mean, did you think you once you had it sealed in Singapore, did you feel like you had to did you want to push for the last few races, or did you want to just like take your foot off the gas, relax a bit more? I mean, just talk us through your mindset on that, really, because it was a very early championship win.
I'll take any win I can get after I got the championship, but yeah, it's been relaxed the last few races.
And also for this weekend with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, who do you think is going to win, mate?
I don't do predictions.
Oh, you're saying with monkeys then?
Well,
if I say anyone, he'll probably crash out and it won't happen. But.
Yeah, fair enough, Walter. But congrats to the whole, on the season as a whole, because well-deserved championship. You scored most podiums and most wins out of anybody this season, so you performed fantastically. And hopefully next season you can have a closer fight with Total Peas, Giroux, and Mark in the championship for next season.
I've got a question for the P2 man, Real Mark. Could you talk us through the end of qualifying 3, please?
Yeah. So basically, nothing much. I thought I had the lap to set pole. It turned out to be P2. I might have said something before I crossed the line, but yeah, I will just ignore that. And yeah, P2 qualifying, P2 in the end. Happy to end the season on a podium.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still 2 seasons in, basically 2 seasons in. If you don't count the first seasons of last season, and still no win. So yeah. I'm still chasing that long awaited win.
Of course. I mean, how did you feel when you crossed the line in P2? I mean, obviously it's a very decent result, but I know you've been looking for that win for a while. So I mean, was there any disappointment? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was because I think I had the contention for the win, because I mean I was staying. You guys obviously saw me in the Total Ps. Just switching positions, fighting. I mean, it was completely on for the win. We didn't know who was gonna get it, but then AJ came into play, and once P's just passed AJ, and I didn't pass him the next straight, and it was over. GG.
Yeah, I mean, what happened with AJ? Because we were watching a battle behind, I believe, with Nathan, but then we just saw AJ in the distance. He spun around. Was that contact or well, what had happened there? Because after that, he got out that DRS range and he kind of had it sealed, provided he didn't make any mistakes, which was the case. But yeah, what happened with AJ exactly? Because we didn't get to see that on stream.
I don't think I really touched him. I think he clipped the glass and just lost it. I mean, we'll have to see. If I get a report, I mean, I'll throw my discussion in. Hopefully I won't get another podium stripped away from me, but I should not. So
A one-wall podium, in my opinion, for you.
It was very well deserved to keep in front of that train, all the pressure from behind for so long. Yeah, you done very well. But yeah, on to the winner, total P's. Jamie, I'll let you take away with the cut. Oh, also we forgot who's winning the championship this weekend. Mark.
I want it to be Max, but it's going to be this.
Okay, I think that's the same thing I said. Moving on to total P's, mate. What a fantastic drive! Ever since that second safety car disappeared, you were on it. You overtook AJ to turn 1, and you just pulled away from Mark. You did a fantastic job. Talk us through your race, mate.
It was pretty boring after I got past Jacob, because before that I knew if there was no safety cars, it was just going to be a flip-flop between me, Mark, Walter, just going back and forth, switching places to the last lap. But then safety car came out, we ended up behind Jacob. I ended up making a move down the inside turn 1. And once I got out to the 1 second, I was confident I can keep Mark out of that, which I managed to do, and it ended up working in my favour.
Throughout the whole season, mate, you've performed. First part of the season wasn't really that great. Also, internet connections get in the way, but that's sorted for you now, hopefully. And throughout this middle and last part of the season, you performed fantastically. Do you think you can have the same expectations going into the next season, fighting with the championship with Walter?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm going in there to compete for the top, for sure.
In these last few races, you also outperformed Walter, so do you think that's a massive confidence booster into the next season?
Yes and no, because I know when it comes to crunch time, he'll also kick it up another level. So it's just about matching that level and seeing how it goes.
Congrats on securing P2 as well, maybe, because you were fighting with Javoon, but when you saw Javoon knocked out, do you think there's a lot of pressure off you?
Nah, because I knew he'd get through the field. As long as he didn't kill anyone, he would have been there, and especially in the reverse strategy. So, nah, you can't eliminate anyone to the last lap. So there's no point in getting excited.
When you got into P2, were you a bit nervous because obviously that's soft tyre? But did you know that the soft tyre would go off at the end?
Yeah, I knew those softs they'd be overheating way too much for him to keep up in the middle sector. So all I had to do is keep him behind us by a second, and I'd be alright.
Well, once Mark was released from AJ and to revisit, do you think there's a chance of you two fighting?
No. All I needed was that 1 second. I said to Mark as well, once it's clear, you won't be my DRS. But yeah, it happened and it worked out.
Talk us about your whole season, mate. What's been your highest and what's been your highs and what's been your lows for the whole season?
Probably just the last 8, 9, 10 races. That period I've been driving really well. The first 2 were a bit suspect, but since the 3rd race onwards, I've just been trying to perform at the best I could. The lowest point probably Portimao, where I could have came from last and won, just some pure thing. But other than that, nah, the season's been good.
I mean, I'm just going to add here, like, because of how well you performed towards the latter stage of the season, is there like any element of feeling a little bit bittersweet about P2? Because I mean, obviously Walter did run away with it at the start. If you'd like maintain this level of performance, I feel like you could have made it a fair bit harder for him. So, you a little bit disappointed that you didn't get the championship this season, or are you just fully looking forward for the next one?
Yeah, of course I can say if I finish blah 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 whatever, I could have been hit and that, but I didn't. Valve performed, I didn't at the start. That's all that matters really. No point dwelling on it, just go next season.
What have you changed this season with your driving style, P's? What do you think you've changed?
I don't know, it just started working.
Did you tweak your setups more? Did you start practicing more? Did you get comfortable with the race setups, etc.?
Yes and no. I don't know. I just think getting more and more comfortable with the game. Started just trying too hard at the start, and just chilled out a bit, and yeah, it worked out.
We're gonna wrap it off. You got anything to say, Ben?
Well, no, it's been a pleasure being in the comms box. Obviously, P16 in the championship. This was my highlight of the season. So yeah, pleasure with you today, Jamie. Hopefully, I can somewhat get myself up there in time for next season if I do get a seat. But yeah, pleasure today. It's been really good fun. And yeah, well done to the top three as well. I was saying earlier on, you guys and Jeroen have all been brilliant this season. Like so consistent with every race. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to watch you guys from P20 in spectator modes. Anyway, I think that should be it, yeah?
Walter, congratulations on the championship, mate, well deserved. Total P's, congrats to the wins, and P2 in the championship, and Mark, congrats to the podium, mate. We hope we can see more of you, but get a race for next season.
Thank you, boys.